Looks like we're live, but we will wait for our faithful audience to join us.
I I think they got plenty of us this week too. So
You think they're fed up with us?
no, I don't think they're fed up, but I think they are no comment, no further comment.
One thing I know about audience is once they like you and they when they hear what you have to say, they'll keep coming, no matter how many times you come back. So I'm very confident that our regular audience will join us very soon, which they are as we speak, joining in numbers. So let's just wait a few more, maybe 1 or 2 minutes for the rest of them to come. Maybe some of them are done late. So let's just wait.
Yeah, I think you're right. Show like the view and things like that. That's why they always, no matter how much, on a daily basis they come, they have such a high rating because of the conversation they want to hear. Well, at least, we are not doing the Tuesday drive. And yesterday, I think we spent about 3-4 hours on Tuesday drive. We are still doing the fundraising campaign until the end of the week. But today, obviously, we have a lot of hot topic that I think we're going to be covering. And again, I think is the conversation we do it in English because we want to make sure that what's happening in Oromia as international community have failed time again to report in the atrocities and how it is impacting our community. When I say Oromia, we're talking about 70, 80 million people is who we're talking about. We're not talking about, a country of 50 million like Syria or, say country of 5 million. I don't know, small countries. We're talking about Oromia size of at least 75 to 80 million residents lives in Oromia, yet their voice is considered. They voice the human rights violation, the atrocity in Oromia is, I don't know how to call it, in part willful ignorance. So I think our audience, and please continue to write to us. Ali Gamachu, thank you so much. I'm checking the comment. We appreciate all your support, all your encouraging words. It means a lot to us. I think, Ati, I think we have full house already.
Yes, indeed. Uh, Let me see the count. Yeah, I think this is good enough for us to start our Wednesday weekly press briefing or weekly updates for our audience. As you've just mentioned, we were out in full force yesterday for Giving Tuesday, and I would like to start by thanking all uh, our audience that participated in giving for the cause they believe in and for the cause that we're working on to become a voice for the voice that are stifled in Oromia, in the narratives and the story that are not told and that need to be told. Um, so not only thanking them, but also I want to thank you two here, Senab as a executive director of Ola and Kana as somebody who's doing the due diligence in trying to bring these stories to life, these stories that matter, these stories that have to be told, these stories that would be buried if they're not told by someone. And I'm glad that we are the ones that are telling these stories. I'm glad that we're bringing these stories to the forefront. Um, Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Sena and Kanna. There's a lot of hot topics on the plate today. Um, I'll start with the um, maybe a softball, and then we'll continue with the other ones. What do you guys make of the visit from the foreign minister of China, Wang Yi, to Ethiopia? And do you think it has something to do with assisting with the civil war, or is it has something to do with just the scramble between this different nations trying to have a bigger say in these African countries? We'll start with that, and then we'll kind of a warm up for all of us, and then we'll continue to other hot topics that are in the news cycle today and the last few days.
I can jump off because it seems like T does never call anybody out, and Kana always waits for us to. Okay, so I'll jump off. Actually, here's the interesting thing, T. First and foremost, let me actually start with obviously thanking our audience who stay with us. Our program was watched by over 20,000 as of last night in the morning session, and then have reached maybe around 60,000. And then from the evenings, also about 10 plus thousand have watched, and tens of more thousands have reached. I wanted to thank you to yourself for, you know, 4 or 5 hours to stay online asking us the questions. And it's really important. I really had a good time yesterday. And I felt like not even about the fundraising part. People don't know the kind of work that we do. Is, three of us come in here and talk about our opinion because our opinions transcend almost to other communities, and other international organizations listen to us, and this is the window they hear about Oromo. It's not a lot of English program that where the Oromo issues are being addressed. So it is a wonderful program, and I wanted to thank you very much, obviously, T, for week after week coming here and inviting us to be on this show. Same thing with our colleague here, Kana himself. Who is kind of diamond mining. He's not even doing gold mining. He does diamond mining from Ethiopia because it is very, very much difficult. I know we talked about it last night. And I also want to thank again our audience for to positive, and I love everybody. I love your support personally, and then I appreciate everything. Sharing our page, talking about us, and encouraging us just really uplifts our. We hear so much death, so much agony. So when we hear positive thing, it uplifts us. But to get to your question, T, so the foreign minister of China going to Ethiopia is actually a very big deal. I don't take it as a very soft spot start. It's a big deal because the country is dingling to the last point, and you have a senior official going to a country that is in a civil war. In Ethiopia, the debt that Ethiopia owe to China is humongous. And I feel like personally, China probably is there to assess what can I get from this place, because this country is about to fall apart. Let me see it, and then like, should I seize the airport? Should I seize the dam? Should I? What is it that, because the amount of debt China owe to Africa? I mean, I read an article somewhere. Somebody wrote that in the next 30 years, Africa have to be almost let me remove Africa have to almost be colonized again by either in east of China or by Western country, because Western does not really do a lot of they give a lot of aid more than loan. So but China and Turkey and other country that is giving lots of millions of dollars to as a loan to Ethiopia and Africa is a very concerning thing. And I think China's foreign minister is in there, and to really, I think they're gonna make some kind of a huge assessment, because they do know this. They are finally getting real assessment. Ethiopia, as it was, can no longer exist. That the new government that's going to be transitional government form and take over cannot be paying back to China, especially when China is part of integral into this world that have cleansed genocide. You might as well call what happened in Tigray is genocide. What happened in Oromia, non-stop drone bombing in Wallo, as a topic, I'm pretty sure you're going to comment. China is complicit, though the new government coming in, I do not see China is not going to expect a much warm welcome. And I think it should send a huge, clear message to not just even China, but throughout Africa, that such a thing, is not acceptable. That I think so. China, in my opinion, the foreign minister is in there to simply assess the situation on ground, and that's how I saw it. And it's not really small thing. I saw it as a big deal.
Kana Golicha, would you mind to chime in
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank our audience and every one of us for the good work yesterday we did, and those who donated. For Thank you very much, and keep donating to the right cause. Let me take on the China aspect. I would like to say that to begin with, when Abiy Ahmed came to power, China, uh, they forgive the Ethiopia the loan they had, a lot of the borrowing they had, and from that go. And if I maybe go back before even the Abiy Ahmed dismissed the TPLF and they went to Makele, uh, we used to laugh because some Chinese members used to be, some Chinese individuals used to be members of TPLF, and they appear in the Congress and in Makele, and we used to laugh about that. From that, China is always on the diplomatic aspect of the view. They used to sit on the back door and just watch, but they act, they are like invisible people acting behind the curtain. Uh, and I want on this visit, I want you to see where this visit is happening when the prime minister is on the battlefront in the forest. uh, the timing of the visits, like Adesina said, it's a crucial time that Ethiopia need. And the tweet that the Ethiopian Foreign Ministry is saying that the Chinese and Ethiopian relationship is a relationship that is strong, so deep, that is unshakable. It's already seen, because again, see the relationship from the west side has been, U.S. embassy just 15 hours ago said Ethiopia is not safe. They are calling their citizens to be, leaving. Uh, but see the foreign minister of the Chinese government being in Addis when people are even saying the airwave is not safe. Uh, that assure you that China is, as long as they're investing in Ethiopia, and they are now helping them, stabilize the country, because the West, Ethiopia has already lost from the West side. So they are going for the Far East diplomatically. That's my view, because some of aspect that the Senate has already spoken about it. Yeah. Thank you.
I just wanted to add one thing I forgot, T, is that if there was any kind of room for protest, you would call protest against this foreign minister who's coming to China. In fact, anyone, whether it's Turkey or any country right now, is with this regime, is enabling genocide, is supporting and aiding and abetting all the violence that's happening in Ethiopia. We lost hundreds of people just less than 48 hours ago in East Wallaga, and there have been non-ending bombing in Wallo area, and then obviously there's a bombing in Tigray, a residential area. So if there was any, you would say, like, I will even call on to our young people to tweet and condemn this foreign minister that is visiting to enable and to give legitimacy to this genocidal government. I just wanted to put that in there, T. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And instead of adding my 2 cents to this conversation, I will directly go to one other topic that I want you guys to, let's call it a debunking mission. So there's a lot of things that need to be debunked that are narratives of the Ethiopian government and the pro-Abiy loyalists. There are a bunch of things that I want you guys to debunk. But the one thing that I want you guys to focus on right now is the Abiy government and the Abiy loyalists are trying to paint the current resistant by the TDF and Orla, and by the general public of the Oromos, the Tigrays, the Benishangul Gumuz, the Kamant, trying to push for a transitional government. They're saying no to the current government. They're saying no to the extrajudicial killings, and most are pro-transitional government. And the Ethiopian government is doing a yoga stretch, trying to compare that with the January insurrection at the state capital here, the USA. Can you guys compare and contrast those? Why those things are not the same? Why we can't compare those two scenarios, and how the genocide that they're trying to implement on some of the nations makes this significantly different from the U.S. case. Is my question clear for you guys? We're trying to debunk that, and since Sena likes to call, for me to call on people, I'll call on Sena first, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, that's much helpful because that like kind of give you a green light to jump because the other person is waiting for this. Like, should I go first? Should I'm comfortable to jump in because I know you so well. But if it was somebody else, I want to be like, you want to go first? So I appreciate that, too. But I think that's so funny. I mean, I saw the Deputy Minister for Peace who have put out a statement about the U.S. Embassy that put out the threat concern, the legitimate concern the international community is putting out as somehow parallel what's happening. 400 people were killed in Chicago. I was briefly reading about it. I don't see the US drone going around in the United States hunting down. Right now, we have Democrat in power. So the insurrectionists happened during the Trump administration, searching for even for the KKKs, even for the the most radical. They're not going with the drone and bombing them. They're not arresting 50,000 people, putting them like all of them. No, they're going through judiciary system and bringing them to them. And everybody is innocent, at least to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? The American justice system still have room to improve, especially when it comes to the police brutality, how African Americans are treated when it comes to when they are confronted with the police. As someone that have grown up here, especially for a black man, so I do understand that. But it's nothing. It's like saying like this. See, the way I understand is like a baby who is 1 year old versus you an adult not self-controlling yourself in front of the cheesecake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? The cheesecake was the same distance between me and that baby, and I didn't eat it. Look at that baby. The baby ate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think what this it is, to me, is mind-boggling. You'll be a peace minister, that the country that is at civil war, the former prime minister who have resigned from his position, whether it is temporary, whatever it is, to fall in a front line. I don't see Biden going to this red state and saying like, you know what, I'm gonna fight until I get this radical people. You know what I'm saying? That even the KKKs, because they do exist, there's still the racist people in this country. I don't see Biden or any Democratic individuals doing. But what you have here is you have the prime minister, the former prime minister of the country, which says that I am legitimately elected by millions of people. But yet you are in the front line fighting, doing what? Killing? And you want to compare that to a country that is at peace, a country that gives over 1.3 billion in aid? It's like eating the hand that's feeding them. I mean, come on, let's be honest with that. Ethiopia is extremely poor country. I've always been in the bottom list of the country. It's been there because of these Naftanias who have been in power. I think one of the things TPLF did mistake was like when they came to power in 1991, leaving some certain institution in there, particularly the institution like religious institution. And look how the Al-Shabaab University is revoking a certificate or a degree from an individual. I'm in what country? Because you don't support my war, you don't campaign with me, you are a target. You know what I'm saying? I'm by no means people in fan of any Ethiopians, because I do see a lot of Ethiopians are the problem, part of this empire that will be decolonized. Because what's happening in Ethiopia is, for so long, for 100 and plus years, our people paid for it. We've been saying this for 20 years in America. We've been protesting, talking to congressional office. We've been talking to the international community, but international community failed to see that. But now all the action the institution is taking shows you how deep that Ethiopia is racist. It's racist, but because it's black on black, because you have the Naftanias who have the same skin color as we are, the international community failed to see that. Their racism is deeply rooted in religion, particularly within the Orthodox, and the institution as far as university, the oldest university the country have. So for me, to be honest with you, is not only debunking, it's like you're comparing in like something that is incomparable. What Ethiopia is going through as a country is civil war. People are dying. People are dying from hunger because people have not farmed. There is, obviously there's a drought situation happening in part of the country, and that's why Ethiopian, I believe it's Ethiopian Humanitarian Organization or Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. There is 9 point something million in need of help. I mean, I don't say 9.5 million. America is over 320 million, if I'm not mistaken. Ethiopia is one third of America, 120 million. And I don't see 9 million Americans who are in line begging for food, who are in line in a shelter, who are in line because they're displaced. I don't see American refugees in either in Canada or Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, it's just like to say that, the violence of the country, such as the size of the U.S., and the violence that is happening, the bombing, I don't know what kind of government, you know what I'm saying, indiscriminate bombing that's happening, killing hundreds of people, and then for me to say is, I don't even know how to debunk that, T, but I think I want farther than what you asked, but I'll give my Kana. It's all yours.
Yes, I just want to say first, Ethiopia is refusing to learn from the history. Yeah. One, you refuse to learn from the history. You keep repeating the same, and history is very important. Like in Ethiopia, you see, the history has told us that Oromos are, they keep oppressing Oromos generation after generations, and the country will not progress whenever civil and political rights of individuals are not taken care of. Whenever the civic and political rights are taken off, the economic and social rights come in, the development, the misom, the individual's call, come in when human beings are free. And comparing Ethiopia to America is a joke, and it's a joke of century, because America have learned from the history, and then still I think they are making progress. They are talking about gun violence. Ethiopia refused to talk about Oromos who are dying. They refuse to talk about the oppression. They refuse to talk about the detention of millions of Oromos. They don't want to learn from the history. They just want to say Ethiopia great, how we help Africans, how we are never colonized. Look at it. Ethiopia was occupied for 5 years, and without the help of the likes of Great Britain, and from the West, they will not have been there. Ethiopia has been there because of the relationship they had with America for almost 145 years. They have been, So Ethiopia is refusing to admit and learn from the history. And whenever you are saying you are now comparing individual responsibility, where gunmen go into school, shoot, and they are criminals, against the mass, the collective responsibility, the collective crime that Ethiopians are committing now, where individuals are also coming from America to join the battlefront, and where millions of women are being raped, children are dying. You can't say that America 180 people are dying. Those are criminals, and few criminals who take gun and go to do things, and they are held liable. In fact, they are arrested and they are taken to court, or they die in the process. Who is being held accountable in the Ethiopian case? Why can't they compare and contrast? Why can't they? Yeah, democracy is fragile. What about dictatorship? You know what I mean? America is telling the democracy is fragile, but what about the Ethiopian dictatorship? Is it fragile, or it is still? So whenever people are comparing, they should compare and contrast. They should know the stage the people are in. People are in the forward world, in the stereo age, where now people are moving to the computers, where network 4Gs, 5Gs are coming. But Ethiopia, they keep always shutting off the internet. They don't even, their network doesn't work. People are going from freedom of even to speaking about even other minority right. But here we are talking about the mass of 70 million people, where the stress, the state systematically ignore them, oppress them, and they think that they are going to get development. And that's why I rubbish off the compare with the Americans. Comparing America to Ethiopia is a rubbish. I can't see the logic, because the logic of what is going on in America and what's even going on in Ethiopia. So I pity them, and I'm sad to see how the state minister is coming from that side. I think they should have come. They should go to benchmark in America what's happening, copy their what they are doing in judiciary. People are arresting criminals and getting revenue by prosecuting them, even fining them. But in Ethiopia, you are taken in for 7 months without being taken to court. So I don't think people are talking about even right of immigrant who are coming from foreign country, but you are still oppressing your own citizen. So that's a damn comparison. Yeah, let me leave it there.
Yeah, just for clarity, the reason why I thought this is important to debunk is This is the yearly or annual ambassador summit in Ethiopia every year, and the ambassador of Ethiopia to the United States, Futsum Araga, was there for that summit, and he came on the state TV, I think Ethiopian television or EBS or whatever, one of those TVs, and he made this claim where this situation that's in Ethiopia is comparable to the January 6th insurrection, and that it's a treason trying to topple the government. And that's why I thought it was very critical that we debunk this. And you guys did a fantastic job debunking that there is no comparison. Now, it's documented. Sena is dying to say something. I'll give you a chance. It's documented that the Ethiopian government, the Ethiopian National Defense, the Eritrean army, the Amhara militias, and the Fanos, in collaboration, have committed several war crimes, some amounting to genocide, sex-based abuses, rapes, blocking humanitarian assistance to use famine as a tool of war, as a weapon, and there are several other atrocities that are documented by not only the international community but also the Ethiopian government appointed Human Rights Commission itself. It was so out there that they couldn't even deny it. They just wanted to mix it and kind of confuse people. But these are specific things the government has been committing. This is specific things that has been documented. So to compare this to the Biden administration that were elected and a few individuals, maybe several hundred individuals, trying to take that election by force, to try to equate those things by itself just treasonous, just trying to do the attempt to compare those two. And what a shame to come to power on the backs of the public and then claim to be elected by 40 million of the public, and you are in the forefront fighting the public. Shame. Say now, I'll give you the floor.
You know, if 40 million people elected you, are so happy with you, why aren't they fighting for you? They're so happy they voted for you. There are 4 million Addis Ababans. Why are they not in the bottom line with you? I'm saying if what he's fighting against was such a treasonous, bad actress, I think it's making mockery of democracy, mockery of I don't know what to call it. But the part that I wanted to add is this, because we have a lot of viewers, and a lot of our viewers are Western based, particularly America based. So, and I wanted to use this opportunity and to kind of just remind them something that they know. Imagine what Oromos in Ethiopia are facing. In America, 70% of American population is Caucasian, white people. 30% is Blacks, Hispanics, the Indians, the Eastern, Middle Eastern, all kind of people. 30%. According to Deputy Special Envoy Payton, Oromos make up 60% of the population. That is at the minimum. Oromos make up at least 70% of the population. Imagine Caucasian Americans, white American, demanding justice from the Hispanic who makes, I don't know, some accounts say 18% of the population, or the African Americans, 12% or 13% of the population. Oromos make up 70% of Ethiopian population, 90% of prison, and less than 15% of bureaucracy. This is the truth. Yes, what's happening in Tigray, which makes 6% of Ethiopian population, is a genocide. Well, as an organization, as a people, have said that from the moment the war broke out. It is a wrong war. It is a necessary war. It's a necessary war that's taken millions of innocent people's life, displacing. But what Oromo have faced for generation, I think the good quote that say our brother is Jawar Muhammad. It's like, and he's saying in Oromo, say what are happening to Oromos in Ethiopia, it never even happened to animals, not human beings. What's happening to Oromos, just what have been happening and what is happening today for an Oromo in Ethiopia have not happened to dogs, to anybody. In honor of a dog or a donkey or, I don't know, horse, when you kill the horse, they speak up. But when you kill an Oromo, you don't even have to worry about it because there is no honor of it. When Amhara person get killed, Amhara regional government will speak up. When Somalia person get killed unjustly, Somalia government will speak up. When Tigray, we don't even have to talk about it. Other regions. But when it comes to Oromo, in Oromia, Oromos are not safe in Oromia, not only in Oromia, even as refugees in Kenya. There's a safety in a border of, I mentioned it in Sudan, and we're way over already our time. But just to make it very short, is that Oromo refugees have no place. There is no a refugee camp, even though there's a civil war going on, set up in the border of between Kenya and Ethiopia. Why? Because Kenyan government might be most likely complicit in this violence, making sure the Oromo refugees are not visible to the international community. So it's so important. Oromos, who make 70% of the Ethiopian population, have less than 15% of bureaucracy and over 90% of prison. And on top of that, too, the church, Ethiopian migrants who live in America, are sending hundreds of thousands of dollars to Ethiopia for war. But where do they get that money? From the American government. Because why? Because they are church. They are funding this genocidal war and they're not being properly called onto it. There is a bunch of cells in Washington, D.C. They have, established EPAC, Ethiopian American Political Action Committee, are funding American politicians to support genocide war. This war cannot be saved. Abiy is a dead end. He's gone. Transitional government. We're talking about, WOC just came up with the, roadmap. It was published and we endorsed it, obviously. That's what we're proposing to our brothers in Somalia, to our brothers in Tigray, and other brothers who genuinely want to live in a free country where I'm not second-class citizen. So I think churches and Ethiopian American citizens who are funding this war need to be called on. I think one of the things the U.S. government is not doing a good job is not really cracking down those genocide. Put it out warning is far overdue. What the deputy minister for peace said is, I don't know how you can address them, but the American citizens who are funding people like Neon, the American citizens who are funding this war, they should be held accountable. And our political prisoners, I see some of the comments from our people. Obviously, let me indicate because we are already over time with one topic, my dear.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm not surprised when I see layman, so-called veterans saying, when you kill people, kill by saying the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or Bismillah, or say Baslam Bolskudus and shoot people. I'm not surprised. You know why? Because the churches, like you said, are in masses, are in support of war instead of peace. They are adding fuel to the fire instead of, oh, you know what? Our role should be different. Our role should be mediation. Our role should be ceasefire. Our role should be calling for peace. Our role should be working to bring the groups together, working to find the middle ground. But they are doing, especially the ones in America, taking untaxed money and sending it to the battlegrounds to aid in genocide. And good point. Hopefully, some American policymakers are paying attention to this, are listening to this program, will pay attention to this and probably put this in their notes. Now, one thing that Allah has been doing for a long time now is trying to bring the Oromo voice, the Oromo story, the Oromo narrative to the forefront. And we're happy on the last 2-3 months, or maybe even longer, to see in some of the resolutions that came out from the U.S. government to include Oromo within their resolution. Even if not 100% satisfactory, but seeing that Oromo within that, talking about the Oromo prisoners, those are things that have been a positive change towards a path, a direction. They're taking the right direction towards the right target. Now, in the last couple of days, we've seen a report by the French TV reporting some Oromo struggles. How do you characterize Allah's role in bringing these things to the forefront? How is Allah actually aiding that these stories, or enabling these stories to be told in the manner they're being told, in a positive light, in how there are actually a group of people that are struggling for Oromo cause? If you haven't seen the French TV, I'm sure some of our audiences have. Generally speak, if you haven't seen it, on how we're bringing this Oromo to the forefront, so that our make not only making friends but helping these friends talk about Oromo in this light. Does that make sense? I will start with Kanna and then go to Sena.
Yeah, let me pick it up from where you left. Ola has definitely been, documenting human rights violation. Beside that, we have been, releasing press release on the bombing, on extrajudicial killing, on, injustice that's happened, on the anger people are facing, droughts, and we send this to international media. We send this to we meet with international organizations like the Red Cross, the human rights, other human rights organizations. And the advocacy we are doing, as called the media even attention, because every one of us, keep quiet. And I said the danger of single story yesterday, and where people only see the one side, people see this as a north conflict, and it's nothing to do with the southern part. And we want to remind people that this war even started from the south, from the Oromia, before it even went to the north. And seeing the effect of the war currently displacing millions of people in Oromia, even making people expose people to the anger, because whenever people are now forced to contribute their property to the war, take their children by force, they can't able to farm. It is because of the war that's going on. And we are able to, all are able to do this because of the advocacy, behind the scene work of individuals who keep writing press release, writing articles, documenting human rights violation, publishing in our the Twitter campaign we are doing. Yesterday we just did a Twitter campaign, telling the international media, you must balance the story. You can't tell us the single story, one-sided story that is biased. And this has advanced the advocacy, and it has been doing the Voice of Oromos, trying to get Voice of Oromos on the international media. And you saw the political release, all the political prisoners campaign we did. You saw about the human rights violation we did, and these as all has made through campaign, through documenting human rights violation, through putting out press release, that we have advanced and taken the Oromo voice to the global village. Thank you.
I'll have Sena speak, and then after that we'll come to an end. But the way we come to an end today, I would like to play. It's not a game, but I would like to try a new thing with you guys. I'm going to give you guys a word or a phrase, and you guys will have 30 seconds to respond to whatever comes to your mind to that phrase. So the last 5 minutes will be 30 seconds. You can't talk for long. You just say, we're going to get a lot of quotes for individuals to use. Sena and Kanna said this. That's going to be the story. I'm going to give you one line. I'll give you an example of how this is gonna go. But first, we'll have Sena respond to this, and then we'll do that rapid fire, I'll call it. But right now, I'll have Sena respond to this, and then we'll go to rapid fires.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. I think I'll go back and piggyback on what Kana said. It is so important. That's why Allah's work is so crucial into making the international community aware. Because we come here a lot, talk, and thousands of people watch, and majority of them are Oromo. It doesn't go anywhere. But the work Allah we do behind the scene, I mean, Kana is like he mines diamond. It's not gold. It's so hard to get any data from Oromo because Abiy makes sure the PDO made sure there is no information leaked out of Ethiopia, particularly Oromo. So he have to make phone call to get one name hundreds of times, and then we have to translate and verify that information. It takes days to we have 2 humans of Oromia every week. Every week Allah publish 2 humans of Oromia. We pick individual case, we do thorough research, we interview people, and we publish it. And that is for you audience to use that information and reach out to whoever you want to reach out to kind of understand the kind of atrocities Oromos are facing. So that is why Allah's work is so important. And we obviously are the day after Giving Tuesday, continue to support us, become our member, $5 a month. And that will enable us, because the moment we cannot pay for our bill, that's we have to shut the light off off, and we know everybody have to get a different job to survive because we cannot continue that job. It is so important, and I urge all of our viewers to contribute, to do your part, and appreciate everybody who has done it. But to go back to your question, I think what was the question, Tim? I'm so sorry.
It's okay. The question is, um, uh, to make it um, I forgot the question
I
myself.
know.
No, let me help you. Let me help you.
Yeah,
The question was, how what's Allah is doing to advance,
yes. The new stuff in the cycle. 24
Yes.
reported Oromo stuff, Oromo story, Oromo narrative. What is Allah's role in making these things happen? Thank you, Kanna.
Yes, I know. As soon as Ghana said that, like it came back to me.
I'm preparing for that rapid fire. That's why I was kind of lost.
No, I got sidetracked myself. I think you're talking about the interview the France 24 brought about the OLA interview with the, I listened to it, I heard about it, and obviously, we are a non-profit humanitarian organization focused on non-violence. But as an Oromo, as a leader of an organization, and as my partner Kana, and you guys talk about it, it's been so long we've been saying non-violence, telling these international medias about the violence against Oromos, and the international community have went deaf. So seeing France 24, if I'm honest with you, I wanted to cry. When I was listening, I wanted to cry because, the most painful thing as an Oromo is, it's not even the fact that we get killed like less than animal. It is the fact that we don't get report at it even after the killing. So France 24, the way they were portrayed on the media, I listened to it. The way Jal Gamachu spoke, and other leaders and young women who say that I gave up my comforts to free my people, and another young man who said, like, we break our bones in pieces to free our people. That's how desperate our people are. So I feel like it's about time the international community is covering OLA. They're fighting for right cause. The terrorist is the Ethiopian government that have labeled them as a terrorist. That the international community have responsibility, obligation to go look into who these people are fighting for. Who is the perpetrator? Who is the violence? In the France 24, I hope that is just the beginning. I know at least once or twice Al Jazeera have reported, but it's not sufficient. We're talking about 60, 70% of Ethiopian population, 90% of political prisoners. We're talking about the voice of over 80 million Ethiopians in the region, more than that. So France 24 did a good job, and obviously for this the short answer is Oile must be thanked very, very much to get the Oromo voice to that level. So I think as an individual, obviously would say that they did a fantastic job getting the Oromo voice to the international community, and I think that should be the tip of the iceberg. We have spoken, obviously we don't endorse in any way armed struggle, but these people are fighting against a terrorist government. They are being terrorized and they're dying. Young people are left universities, left their homes to free their people, and Frank 24 did a fantastic job, and I was happy, and obviously all credit goes to OLA.
Thank you very much. I don't see comments from the audience. I don't know if my chat is off. I don't know if there are any comments. Do you guys see any comments from the audience? So audience, I would like to keep sharing this. Share with everybody that you know. This is going to be a fun segment. I don't know how uncomfortable I'm going to make Sena and Kanna, but the more uncomfortable, the better. It's going to be a very quick response. I'll give you an example. For example, I'll say Oromo Legacy Leadership and Advocacy Association. And one of you will take and say, for example, if I hear that, I'll say an institution that is working on advocacy and other different various other programs to advance the voice of Oromo, blah 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 blah, just to
Objection.
yes.
The objection is T. Are you fairly going to time, because you're going to give us 30 seconds, right? You have to time yourself fairly.
Fairly timing. You guys gonna be timed. If you guys don't finish in 30 seconds, I'll stop you. It has to be 30 seconds. You finish. I wish there were comments from the audience. I want the audience to keep sharing. share this segment. You guys really want to? I think you guys will have fun with this. And if there are other phrases or words from the audience, I'll also would like to take it, but I don't see any right now. So 30 seconds each. The same word. The first word, Kana will go first, and Sena will go next. The second word, Sena will go first, and Kana. Okay? It's going to be word or phrase. So I'll mute myself as soon as I ask. Okay. The war is the Pan-African War.
There was not a Pan-African war because the war against citizens, the war killing, innocent civilians, there was recruiting children, there was, displacing millions, there was displacing, killing many individuals, there was making women rape, there was making women rape, kill, million displaced, killing economy, there was, again, killing the economy, making the farmers lose their animals. There was, again, creating.
Time is up, Kanna. 30 seconds.
Before you ask questions, I was gonna say that so I think people are like, let's go. I see somebody said let's go, and I really like this game. I was gonna propose to you, the moment you unmute yourself, that is a cue for us to stop because we can hear ourselves. But let's go.
Perfect. The same question. The war in Ethiopia is the Pan-African War.
I was definitely not expecting that. Okay, absolutely, the war is not Pan-African war, and you gave my time to Ghana. That's unfair. Okay, anyway, it's not Pan-African war because it's a civil war. It is Ethiopian killing Ethiopian. It is a government, illegitimate government that was never elected. It was selected, came in power, and misused the power and took the country to war. And the government is trying to paint itself as if they are Pan-African. Ethiopia has never been Pan-African. Ethiopia is a racist nation, have created and it's an imperial state that needs to be decolonized and remade it again. It is definitely not Pan-African war because the people.
Time is up. Okay, thank you. And we go to the next one. This time, Sena starts. Sena, be ready. The No More movement.
The No More movement is no more Abiy, the way I see it is a joke. I think this is the racist empire that had left the country for the diaspora, left Ethiopia 30 years ago. Now Abiy have given them, reviving them. It's like racism in America that, there was being quiet with the election of President Obama. People thought there was like finally America is post-racism, but then Trump comes to power and wakes up. And what's happened is Abiy woke up the Menelik. Abiy tried to call himself is Menelik III. The current operation is Operation Menelik. It is imperial state that's trying to go back.
Done. Kanna, same question.
Yeah, the No More campaign is a sugarcoating. The No More campaign is a blackmailing. The No More campaign is just, a campaign blackmailing, lying to Africans. That's a war against Africa, and it's a lie. And it's a war that No More campaign is just a waste of time because time is long gone. The No More campaign is not bearing any fruit because, you can't lie to elites. You can't lie to activists. The No More campaign is just an ideological lie, and the No More campaign will not advance any political and social development.
Thank you. Both of you guys are very good with this game. As if you guys already played before. We're going to continue. This time, Kanna will go first, and then Sena. Does who started the war matter?
Yeah, who started the war matter because that made that individual caused the chores. That individual, exposed the country. That individual killed the transition government. That individual killed the hope of people who made this government to power. Whoever started the war matter because that individual should be held liable. That individual, killed the sovereignty of the country and violated the territorial integrity of the nation. That individual, made lie. Whoever started the war matters.
Sena, same question.
Thank you. Well, in this case, okay, you got to start from T all over because it's not fair. You get my 30-second again? Okay. So the question is, who started the war matter? But in this case, normally it does, but on this case, the war started soon after Abiy made a peace with Eritrea. So he was in preparation long before November 4th when he pulled the trigger. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. It doesn't matter what you put on the pig, makeup, lipstick. Pig is always a pig. So the war started the moment Abiy made peace with Eritrea, with IS, and they were in preparation. So in the TPLF, Tigray people were just self-defending themselves because it was inevitable.
Time is up. Right on time. Great. I have three more of similar rapid fire. So this time Sena will start and Kanna will go. I'll be at the forefront.
That's a joke. I think Abiy forefront to me is a joke, and what he's doing is he lost the war. He lost the battle through army. Now what he's trying to do is mobilize young men, poor people to come and die for this war, for illegitimate, for wrong war. It's a civil war, and Abiy is a criminal that's supposed to be held accountable to. He's supposed to be facing ICC, but rather right now inciting as if he is a man. He's a brave enough to fight. He is not in front line fighting. He's just making sure that poor people come and die for no.
Time is up, Kanna. Same.
Being on the forefront is a violation of constitution, a violation of human rights, a violation of international laws, and a violation of people who elected him. And they try how is on the forefront is a lie, is a big joke, because I can't see helicopters, fighting, and at the same time people taking Photoshop. Abiy on the forefront is just a joke, ideological false, and I don't know. It's a contrast. People on the Nobel Peace Prize on the war front, Abiy on the war front is just an ideological lie. And
time is up. Thank you very much. Two more. This one I'll try to. This time I'll try to. Hopefully you guys have heard this. It happened this morning from the press release. The list of cities. Kanna goes first. The list of cities the Ethiopian government claimed to have recaptured.
The list of the cities the Ethiopian government claimed to have recaptured is uncertain, unclear, unconcise, and no media coverage is made. The list of cities the Ethiopian government claimed to have been captured has been only reported by Ethiopian media, and for it to be true, they should be accessed by international media, accessed by other individuals, collaborated by that news is collaborated. The list of cities the Ethiopian government has captured is just totally propaganda.
Oh, okay. The list of the city is irrelevant because we're talking about a government that have claimed there was no Eritrean in the country. It's a pathological liar government. That you really gotta believe what Abiy say. I mean, this guy have never been consistent. Everybody knows, so it doesn't matter what he captured, in my opinion. And B, those areas that he claimed today is the TDF have already receded from them on purpose, and I have no doubt they're gonna take that back, and it's irrelevant even if they don't.
I just want to chime in on this one. I was surprised when I heard the list of the cities. I said, man, there was a list of so long. I was saying, they never told us all the cities has been captured in the first place. So last but not least, this time I want Kanna to go first and Sena second. This is the last one. I have more, but I'll save them for next week. But this is the last one for today. Tayyad Enda calling the U.S. embassy terrorist.
It's a joke. It's a loving matter because a state minister, a respected individual, making such allegation without evidence, without due diligence, you are, killing the hand that feed you, cutting off the hand that feed you. It's a joke. It's a nonsense. It's not never expected, and it should be defamation. You should be prosecuted for that, actually, because you are making allegation that you have no evidence, and it's a bad lie. It's a political statement, and people should not believe that. Let me stop.
Time is up. Sena, you're next. Same question.
I think Tayyad and Nana say it reflected more on Ethiopian government because it's not even about the individual. The moment you are taking to these seats and you expect it to behave in a certain way, there's a diplomacy of talking to each other, that how government talk to each other. We talk with the U.S. government, and no matter how much they know, they give due diligence respect as Ethiopia is supposed to be a government. So I think he minimized the seat that he's holding, took that ministerial position to us. It doesn't even matter, and he's becoming like activist and activist without a boundary that can say anything, and that's how he just.
That time is up. Thank you very much. You guys were very good at this game, and not only that, I think we can in the future get our audience involved. They can give us some of the things that they want us to address. Thank you for being willing. I didn't tell you guys, for audience, so you know, I didn't tell them that this is going to happen today. I put them on the spot, and as you can see, they've handled this very well and have given us an insight of what they're thinking in their head, real time. This is not, we didn't prepare this. This is real time. They didn't know this is going to be asked. This is real time response from our executive director, Sena Jimjimo, and our legal counsel, Kanna Golicha. I appreciate both of you guys for taking your time today and being here. Not only that, to be participating in this new format that I try to bring so that our audience can kind of have participation in the future with the same program. I'll give you guys last words, as I always do. You guys got a minute each to say last words. There's no constraints. Whatever you like to say, the next 1 minute. I'll start with Sena and then Kanna.
Well, okay. A few things I wanted to say, T, is I thought the really was really good. 30-second, it kind of pushed us to really rapidly respond. Maybe the audience, in my opinion, should give you questions like that only to you, and you can, that way we can be put on the spot. They would like to answer on the spot, and it gives, because a lot of time they ask question and that question never get asked to us directly. Maybe they can send it to you in advance, that we will be able to answer. That's one. Secondly, obviously, we're still gonna ask everybody, if you haven't donated, please make sure you donate. We are doing a campaign fundraising. We're trying to meet the goal of 10,000, so that hopefully the Facebook can match that. Finally, I wanted to say, continue to check our work, because we do a lot of hard work in publication. Make sure you share our publications. And I wanted to thank everybody that is being supporting, speaking against this war, speaking against the current regime, who are genocidal governments, should be held accountable. We call into the international community to act. There's no more time to put out concern statement. Those are long overdue. To save lives right now, they must act. And we obviously are following very closely about the political prisoner situation, just as much as the drone attack that happened in East Olaga. The more information we have, we can publish it. And so I think I still have a few seconds left, T. So I wanted to say again, I think, T, because we are double the time, maybe 20 minutes we can talk, and the last 10 minutes should be Q&A. It could be 30 or 40 seconds to give us, and then we can answer about 4 or 5 questions from both of us. And sometimes maybe we should invite some of our viewers, our audience in the future. That's my suggestion to you.
Thank you. And we do have a winner that's picked by with this competition by the audience. And Kabi Oro says you both won and you both get trophies. Yeah. So good job. And Kenda, your last statement, and then
Thank you.
Yeah, my last statement is to the Oromo audience. If you come across human rights violation happening to our brothers who cannot be able to voice their violation, always send it to Allah, and we will appreciate that. Let's keep sending any human rights violation you come across. We will verify. We will not act on propaganda, but we will verify by our own means, and that is what I beg, because we don't get reporting most of the time from the our ground, and the situation is now so bad. Internet is off in many parts of Oromia, and bombing is happening. And the bad side is that it's happened to innocent civilians, and the properties of innocent civilians, people who have nothing to do with the war, are being affected. Their properties are being, their lives, the livelihood is being destroyed, and that is the violation of international humanitarian law and the violation of Ethiopian federal, constitution. And whenever a lot of local labs, anarchy kick in, and that's the bad. And let me finish it there.
Thank you. Some audience, Hirna Bishan Posta, Borana Oromo, and a lot of others are encouraging you guys to continue the good work you're doing. And I just wanted to appreciate the participation from the various audience that we have, and hopefully we're going to integrate them in the future in the various programs that we're going to bring. Wednesday, we're going to make it very interactive for our audience to also enjoy with us. Thank you, everyone. Good week and good day.
Thank you so much.